One of the most popular sources that people like to go to, that heathens like to go to, is the Poetic Edda, and specifically a poem in the Poetic Edda called the Havamal, or Words of the High One. So the Havamal is very explicit about the importance of gift giving. Stanza 42 is something along the lines of that a man should be a friend to his friend and repay gift for gift. There's other translations that say something a little bit differently word wise, but the spirit of what that stanza is saying um, is, again, a man should be a friend to his friend in exchange gift for gifts. And this isn't just about our relationships with people. It can also apply, the principle can also apply and be extended to the sacred, to the divine. So when we look at what the heathen act of gifting was, in sacrifices, or bloat as it's called, these acts and the things that were being done were, they were offerings that were given with an expectation to receive a blessing or protection or favor in return from the gods, right? So bloat is exchange. Bloat is not it's not done in submission. It is done through the act of the gifting exchange, the gifting cycle. That word bloat, we hear it often referenced, I forget how many dozens, if not hundreds of times throughout the various sources, mentions this word bloat, and it is a word that basically means sacrifice. But it's also a word that could be seen as meaning to strengthen. If you have ever read or know of who Rudolf Simek is, his book that he wrote, I believe it's called the Direct Dictionary of Northern Mythology. He points back to a word, the word bloat, as also meaning, besides the whole sacrifice and exchanging gift and that sort of thing, is to strengthen. So when bloat was done historically, it was done with animals. It was also done with, and sometimes with very rare cases, very specific cases, humans. We see this in the around the 11th century when Adam of Bremen describes the great 9-year bloat or 9-year sacrifice in Old Uppsala, Sweden. So that's another source that we see the nine of everything, or nine of nine livestock, 9 men, 9 humans, 9 slaves, I think they were. But again, the act was done not as a submission, but it was a renewal of reciprocity, a reciprocal contract between the people and the gods. So every 9 years, this was done to sort of renew that contract and to give these gifts in exchange for, right, the blessings, the favor, and all this of the holy, of the sacred. So when bloat was done, it was, again, the animals that were sacrificed were almost certainly eaten and consumed by the people, but the blood of the animals was what the bloat of the sacrifice to the gods. That's what it was. It was the blood of the animal. So a lot of historically focused and reconstructionist heathens will maintain that you cannot perform bloat without blood, without an animal being sacrificed in the process. So if that's your angle, if that's your position, and that you want to maintain, it would likely be a very historically backed position to hold. So, and I've maintained it as well. I don't see any reason why it would be incorrect to say that bloat specifically involves blood of animals that are killed, and then the flesh of which is eaten by the people. The blood is gifted and given to the gods as the gift. Other ways of maintaining the gifting cycle can be done through other ways, through other offerings or feignings. Other sources reference this as well. So, like, you know, yeah, especially like the source of Ibn Fadlan, Ahmed Ibn Fadlan in the Land of Darkness. His retelling or his observations of the Swedish Rus when he spent time with them, and their when they would come in from off their ships, they would. It says that they would come to this large. Um, I forget the exact words that gets used, but basically a god pole or an idol of sorts that was dedicated to some sort of deity, and that they would prostrate themselves. They would lay themselves in front of this and bring gifts of things from the foreign lands. You know, the honey, the milk, the foods, and this and that. These were offerings to this deity. So giving of food or drink or libations, you know, these are definitely acceptable ways to enter into the gifting cycle, and do so in such a way where your body is lower, where you're not standing up, where you are either bowing or kneeling or prostrating yourself before the holy or before the figures of the holy. These are historically backed methods of doing so.